The name's Kavanaugh. Andrew Kavanaugh. I don't think this works, guys. Can we do something else? Hey everybody, welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel here. Today, I have a review that I was very excited about this one, needless to say. This is a series of films that I have loved basically since childhood. I was probably a little too young to see some of these when I was a kid, and as you can guess from my garb today, we are talking about James Bond, that's right, Agent 007, and not just any James Bond, the original, the greatest, Sean Connery. That's right, this is the all-new Sean Connery 6-film collection. So, 6 of his official James Bond films. This doesn't include the 7th film that he did that was Never Say Never Again, which was the unofficial Bond film. This is coming to us from Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, very graciously sent to me by them, so I want to say thank you so much to Warner Brothers for sending this out. This was really an amazing thing to get this. And when I found out that they were going to be redoing these in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos sound, I was very, very excited, because a few of these are actually my favorite Bond films. From Russia with Love is my all-time favorite. That is definitely my #1 Bond film. Goldfinger, again, one of the all-time classics. That film really set the standard in terms of Bond films to come. But you get Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and Diamonds Are Forever in this set. They are completely remastered in 4K with a 4K digital intermediate for each film, and the audio has been remastered in Dolby Atmos. One thing I want to note before I go any further into this review is the fact that even though this was sent to me by Warner Brothers, I'm not getting paid in any way by Warner Brothers to do these reviews here. So anytime I get a product from someone, I am literally only given the product and asked to do some sort of content for it. So I do this to review the picture quality, the audio quality, as I normally do. If you haven't seen my videos before, if this is your first time to the channel, that's my thing. I talk about 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, things like that. That's what I do. So, in essence, I'm not getting paid. My opinion of this box set is not any different than if I bought it for myself. I'm just here to tell you my thoughts on it. Just want to get that out of the way because there's been some very interesting things said about these types of videos from other people. It's not a sponsored video or anything like that. They just sent me this, so that's all, okay? So to jump right into the review here, I want to also talk about the fact that for this review, it was quite the process watching all of these films. This was a job, because each one of these movies is about 2 hours long. I think Diamonds Are Forever is actually 2 hours long, but they're all in that area. And so this is about 12 hours of movies. So you're welcome. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, though, this was quite the undertaking. Now, first and foremost, I want to just get this out of the way that I am not going to be individually reviewing each of these films. They actually all have a very similar picture quality. Normally, if I noticed a massive differential between films, I would individually review them, which I have done in the past for different box sets. In this case, after watching all 6 of them on the exact same system, same television, you know, and I have an LG C4 OLED and a surround sound system, that's Dolby Atmos capable, I should say. After watching all these, I was very, very surprised with pretty much the standard that was set throughout all 6 films. The picture quality on all of these look extraordinary. It is a fairly good jump from previous 4K digital versions that I had seen on places like Amazon Prime or even on iTunes. A lot of the Bond movies, almost all of them, are in 4K now, and just without HDR. But with this, we get each 6 films with Dolby Vision. And I was very, very surprised that the Dolby Vision actually makes quite a bit of difference with all 6 of these films. The biggest difference is, of course, colors. And colors are a big part of these films. They're very colorful, very vivid-looking films, right from the get-go with Dr. No. These movies are just so much better now with Dolby Vision, in a way where it's not a completely different-looking movie. It just looks better. Skin tones are way more accurate. Actually, I was kind of surprised to see how good of a tan Sean had in some of these movies. Connery really looks like $1,000,000 in pretty much all of these. But detail level is a massive upgrade from what I've seen before. I mentioned skin tones, but clothing detail, Connery goes through a lot of suits in these movies. And there's some of them are varying quality in Diamonds Are Forever. But the one thing I will say is that whenever you see some of his suits, you're getting way more detail now on these 4Ks than I ever saw before. There is actually a moment in Diamonds Are Forever where I noticed you can actually kind of see some of the adhesive from Connery's hairpiece in that one, in one particular scene where he's kind of jumping up on the roof of the casino. He rides like an elevator, and there's a shot where the wind blows up, and you can kind of see right over here, you see like a piece of his hairpiece. And it's kind of sad, but I don't think they were ever expecting us to see these movies in this high quality. But there's a lot of moments like that throughout all 6 films where I noticed that level of detail. Little things I may not have noticed before, I really saw it now on this set here. It was really, really impressive. Now, the movies don't look extremely different. In fact, they pretty much all look the way that I remember them. I've seen these movies numerous times. I've owned the Blu-ray box set. Seeing these films now, especially the earlier ones in the series that are contained in this set, they really are amazing to look at. And the Dolby Vision really helps with nighttime scenes. There's a couple scenes in From Russia with Love and Diamonds Are Forever and Goldfinger where that black level really shines. Those nighttime scenes look way better now, and shadow detail and everything in all the 6 films are way more enhanced than they were before. The other thing I wanted to mention too with the Dolby Vision HDR is the fact that the films do get slightly brighter during daytime sequences. It's not a massive uptick in brightness, but I did notice, especially in Dr. No, in a lot of the daytime Jamaica scenes, it got a good amount brighter than I had ever seen in any other version of this film. So one little thing to notate there, they're the movies you love and remember, just a hair better, and I really appreciate that. A picture quality note for the grain haters out there, you're really not going to like this box set. I love seeing film grain in my older films when they're put on 4K. Any movie that's shot on film, I really love seeing that film grain in the picture. This has some film grain in it. All 6 movies really have a good amount of film grain. It's a medium to heavy at times in these. A lot of optical shots, meaning, in-camera optical where they lay over one piece of film over another to create an effect. Anytime that's done in all 6 of these films, you can really tell because the grain on screen becomes heavier and heavier. It happens a lot in these 6 films. And because of that, you can really tell when there's a special effects shot happening. So I'm very glad to say that no digital noise reduction was used. I didn't see any use of AI sharpening or anything with these 6 films. Whoever did this, whether it be MGM, Warner Brothers, whoever was in charge of this, they did a really great job with the transfers on these for picture quality. So I was very, very thankful for that. Like I said, it's not a massive jump in quality, but for what you get, it's really, really nice, and these movies have never looked better. Now, a little different story with the audio quality. Each of these films have Dolby Atmos audio, as I mentioned earlier, and This now you get a much more advanced surround sound capability, which each of these films. The sound field now is very much improved. Right from the get-go, I noticed in Dr. No there were some sequences where you could hear voices in the background. In From Russia with Love, you can hear different sounds going around you when they're on the train. Really, really neat stuff. Goldfinger had some action sequences where there were gunshots coming from different parts of the surround sounds from the back and then the left and the right. It's really, really nice. It's a fairly decent improvement over the DTS HD 5.1. It's not massive, but it's a nice improvement over those previous Blu-rays. One note, though, that I have to say is that the audio is a little bit lower than I would have liked to hear. I had to bump up the audio on my sound system 10 to 15 points when I booted each of these discs up because it was just a hair too quiet. It is what it is. It's still, in my opinion, an advancement. If you're a fan of theatrical audio, they did also include the original theatrical audio tracks for each of these films. Actually, Thunderball has 4 different audio tracks. What some of those other tracks are, I have no idea. I know that there is a 2.0, which is a split mono track for each of these films on the discs as well. So if you don't like the Dolby Atmos, it's okay. You don't have to go with that. You can stick with the original theatrical audio, which, again, is fantastic if you like that original theatrical experience. For me, I like the Dolby Atmos tracks. I just wish they were a hair louder. Again, no issues with leveling except for the volume. So just one thing to keep in mind. The other thing that I thought was kind of hilarious with this set, because it is nowhere advertised in this, is the fact that there are a ton of special features on each of the 6 discs on this set. I was actually really impressed that they were able to carry over every single special feature from the previously released Blu-rays onto this set. And the funny thing is, you'd never know it because there is nothing advertised. I don't think even Warner Brothers put anything in the press release they sent me for this. But I was very pleasantly surprised that it is chock full of special features. Every one of these discs has a ton of promotional materials. There are making of documentaries, behind the scenes featurettes, theatrical trailers, teasers, radio ads. I think Thunderball even had adverts for like 007 pants. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but it's in here. So really nice of them to include that stuff. Overall, I'd say this is pretty outstanding. Again, if you're a fan of the Sean Connery James Bond films, which I very rarely have met anybody who isn't, but if you're a fan of these, I think you're really going to like this set. The only caveat I would say is the audio tracks on each of the films. Again, they sounded great, no issues with dialogue or the wonderful music that accompanies these films. I would just say that I wish it was just a hair louder. But that's all for today for Kavanaugh's Corner. I just want to say thank you so much for coming back to the channel. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, if you want to really help me get this video out into the YouTube algorithm, hit that thumbs up button and definitely make sure to subscribe down below for more. Thank you so very much. I wish you guys all the very best. Please stay safe and take it easy.